Okay, so thank you everyone for being there at this first Forkit meetup in Kuala Lumpur. My name is Quentin Lerebours and I'm project developer and project manager, and developer at Bear Studio. So, before starting, I've got a quick question for you. Who is developer in the room? Can you raise your hand if you're a developer? Okay. And if you're a developer and you already started a side project, can you keep the hand raised? Okay, so a few side projects here. And the last question is, if you started a side project but you feel like you never finished it, can you also raise your hand? Okay, so I think that most developers never finish this. Because yes, we know developers and we have the ability to test a lot of things. So we want to test, always test, and most of the time we never finish and just let it as is. So what did I finish? What I finished, my side project, is travelmap.com. Travelmap.com, I will just show you quickly. It's a website, sorry. It's a website where you can make the maps of all the trips, all the places you went. And for each place, you can put some pictures like this. And if you want, you can see the steps with the whole itinerary. So this is what Travel Map is, with each picture for each place. Okay, so that being said, you now know what Travel Map is. And today, Travel Map has 9,000 users. It generates 2.5 thousand euros a year in revenues. And there are 107,000 visitors a year. So what I'll talk about today is the story of the project, the strategy to arrive to this point, the technologies behind, and finally, what about the growth and how did it go? So, just before starting, I like to make a short disclaimer because I know that there are not everyone is not developer here. So it's just a disclaimer saying how lucky we are as developers because for most of us, development is really a hobby. It's a job, but it's also a hobby and we like to do it. Also, I would say that we can be client and provider, which means that if I want to do something, okay, I define what I do, what I want to do, and I can do it directly. Also, we don't need more than just a computer, so it's really easy to do, and it costs almost zero except the electricity for the computer. And maybe if you need to host, your website, it will cost like $5 or $10 a month. So the disclaimer is that if you're not a developer, maybe it won't be as easy as it is for us. But still, I think there are still a lot of principles that you can apply to your projects as a manager or as anyone who wants to start creating some things and building some projects. So let's start with the story. I really think that I can't speak about Travel Map story without talking about what I did before. In 2015, I was at school and my brother and a friend, they asked me if I wanted to join them by creating a CSGO rewarding website. So CSGO is just a video game, and they asked me if I wanted to join their project. I was at school, I had almost no knowledge about web, about project management, and obviously it failed. This project, it failed. But it failed, but with 70,000 users on the website. So it allowed me to learn a lot about production issues, like making zero downtime, having to manage some servers. So it was really interesting. Also, it was really interesting because we made all the possible issues. I don't know if you know about the sentence that says no big start. It's something I like to say now in projects, it's no big start. It means that you shouldn't put a countdown on your site and say, oh, in 2 days it will open. Okay, in 1 hour it will open. So you shouldn't do that. And that's what we did, because we had no experience at all. Also, we had a lot of technical issues because we were all at school and we didn't know anything about production. So yes, it failed. So we decided to start with a second project, same team and another project. It's leadinggame.com, and it was also with CSGO. It was like a football manager for CSGO. It also failed, but at the same time, there was still 20,000 users, and we had a lot of good feedbacks from the users. So we were really happy about that, but the project was just not valuable enough to continue. So on that part, it was great, and we learned about a lot of technical things because it was a really complicated project with AI. And in 2016 and 17, I was still at school, so it was really interesting to do that. So this is at this moment that when it failed in 2018 and we decided to close the company, I started to search a new idea, and it's when I started to work on travelmap.com. And today I think I can say that travelmap.com succeeded, but it was not the same ambition. So we'll see how and why. These are some pictures I made, some photo I made when I was in Canada during a 15 days road trip in 2018. But I had an issue. The issue I had is that I had a lot of pictures like that, and I visited like maybe 12 places around Quebec and Ontario. So when I came back from this trip and I wanted to show them to my friends and family, then I was just thinking that they wouldn't understand the whole itinerary and the place I visited. So this is why I built this tool for my personal needs first. I wanted something, and I'm a developer, so maybe I can do it. So let's dive into the strategy to build this tool. First, I had to define what I need, and this is a very important step. What I need is just at this point to show the itinerary along with the pictures to my friends and family. I don't need more. I mean, I know that I traveled, I want to share it, and I need it quickly. Because if I told them that they have to wait 1 year before I can show them the pictures, they will just say, okay, I don't care about the map, just show me the pictures, please. So this is why I wanted to go straight to the point. I don't need to have a builder, I just need to have an itinerary to show them. It removes maybe half of the work. I don't need to be able to build a trip as a user. I can just use some data and just show them. So I don't need this builder. Also, I don't need to have fancy technologies and fancy architecture, which is something we always do as developers. We want to try the new things, we want to do something which is great, but in fact, at that point, I don't care. It's not what I need. And finally, I don't need fancy features like crazy animations and so on. I just need to show the pictures to my friends. So this is an example of what I don't need. What I don't need is this kind of fancy animation, and also Rust. It's kind of a joke to my colleague who loves Rust because it's very optimized and so on. But at that point, I don't know a word of Rust, so I won't take the time to learn to do that. So the technologies I decided that I will choose Next.js, which allows me to create some pages with JavaScript very easily. You put a file in a folder, it will be a page on your website. It's great. Also, I chose JSON or JavaScript object to have the data inside. I will just put the data of my trip inside the JSON with pictures URL already uploaded on the web somewhere, and all the data, it will be in a JSON file. No database needed. I will use my Mapbox because I can't do this kind of map without a technology to do that. And finally, I don't need this kind of architecture for hosting the website. What I will do is that I will just take my laptop, I will plug it to the TV, and I will show the pictures to my family. Okay, let's have a look at the advantages of this strategy. First, it's really fast time to user. I build something, I show it, and I get some feedbacks. So I was able to show the tool to my family really fast. Also, it's really encouraging because I was able to get their feedbacks, and they said it's a great tool. It can be great for anyone to use. I didn't presume users' need because I just did what I needed, and if they want more, if they have some ideas, I will let them say it. I won't aim at a big product. I will just let them say what they want. I did the most valuable features first, which is really important because it's a side project, so maybe I don't want to spend more time working on this, which means that next year, when I will go to make another trip, I can just duplicate, put another JSON, and I will be able to show it. So I didn't do a fancy builder and just the builder, which is not what I want. I just did it simple. And finally, this is low cost because it just took a bit of time from me and it costs 0. At this point, my friends and family, they are like this, and me, I'm like this. I'm like really hyped by the project, and I think that maybe I can do a V1 from this product. So the first step is to scope the V1. And when I speak about scoping the V1, it's creating a minimum valuable product. I already did a minimum valuable product for the first version, but now the product is changed. It's not just for me, it's for anyone to be able to use it as non-technical users. So I redefine what I want to do, and I will do it. So I will add what's necessary for anyone to create a trip and to have trust in this tool. Also, it's time to reconsider the previous decisions. I took some decisions by doing things quickly with UX, technologies, and implementation. So in UX, I was able to see some things that didn't work that I will be able to change. Concerning the technologies, I chose JSON, for instance, but maybe it's time to think about something else. And about the implementation, I can change the URLs of the different pages I made, or the only pages I made, and I can change the project structure and so on. So it's time about rethinking this part. I will do some wireframes on mockups. It's important because as an architect wouldn't create a building without plans, I really think that a software architect or software developer can't create a software without wireframes. Also, I will choose the missing technologies to see midterm. By midterm, I mean maybe it should work during 3 or 4 years, but it's midterm because I won't start working on issues I will have in 10 years. I will prioritize by added value, so the most important features first. I will organize myself like a team, maybe have a GitLab or GitHub issue board, maybe put some deadlines and estimations. And finally, I will test the project as soon as possible, and I will ask some people to test and to give me some feedbacks. At this time, it's important not to forget that people may say they've been interested in this tool, but maybe they won't use it alone. Maybe they just sell it. I still don't aim at a perfect product because I don't know what the perfect product is. I don't know my users yet. It's still a side project, so I need to be able to stop at any moment. Maybe tomorrow I'll be lazy. Maybe today I want to work on this, but tomorrow I'll be lazy. And finally, I still don't have a business model, which means that I won't earn money with that. So maybe I don't want to spend that much time on it. And yes, there's a fifth point. The fifth point, I learned it from the different experiences that failed before. It's do not create a company if it's not necessary. Really, it's very important because it will bring a lot of problematics and a lot of fees that you don't need if you don't know if you will earn money with that. Okay, so let's have a look at how I applied this strategy. About the scope, I just decided that I needed, in this order, to create and edit a trip, like putting a marker, some steps, some roads, along with the pictures. I should have a trips map for the user to see all his trips. I should have a simple profile page and a home page. I know some people who would have done the home page first because they love to develop some fancy home pages. So no, the home page, it's the less valuable feature. So let's start by creating and editing a trip. About the technologies, I choose Firebase because I don't know if you know Firebase, but it will allow to focus on the UI and it will serve as a database. It will serve as a backend for the functions and also as a storage for the pictures that people will upload, and maybe also as the hosting. About the implementation, I made some mock-ups on the paper with a colleague who helped me about that. I will edit the project structure, as I said before. I will have no more hard-coded JSON, so I will put a database with Firebase. So also I will upload the images, no more hard-coded links in a JSON. And I will host the website on Firebase. I will talk about it later. So, one more time, if we look at the advantages and disadvantages, it's about the scope. It's usable by users when doing that. But at the meantime, I will let them say what they want for the future. I will not think the V1 as something who has a lot of features. I will just do the strict minimum, and I will let them say what they want. About the technologies, it's focused on UI, as I said, and it allows me to quickly develop the product. And about the implementation, there was an issue with the hosting because it was really not efficient with Firebase function on hosting. Just a quick development part about that. It's that Next.js project can be served by a Firebase function, but functions, if you don't know it, it's just a piece of JavaScript code which is uploaded somewhere, and when you will call a Firebase function, it will create an environment in the runtime, and it will create the environment and it will execute the code. But the time to create this environment, it's called a cold start because it will take a bit of time, and Google, with Google PageSpeed, they will say that it's a high time to first byte, and they will say that for SEO it's really bad. So I just had to adapt and to change the hosting. So I got a V1, I've got some friends who are using it, and even some people who find the tool and start using it. So maybe let's try to make a business of it. One day, I was navigating on the web, and I don't remember why, but I found this travel blog, and I see on the homepage an ugly image which serves as a map to show everywhere the travel blogger went. And it's at that moment I thought that maybe travel map could be a way for travel blogger to put on their homepage a map to show the different places they went, but also have a nice UI to be able to add a new trip and not editing an image, which is a pain, and have something that can be really easily embedded on their website using just a simple link with an iframe. So this is why I say that being involved in the domain you are working in is great, because you will see some opportunities that you wouldn't find otherwise. Because if I was on that blog, it is because I was checking some articles and checking some itineraries, because I love to travel. Also, I'm talking about being ambitious, and if I say that, it's because when I found this blog, I found the email address of the blogger, and I sent a mail saying, do you want me to replace this static image with a nice interactive map showing all your trips? Also, I'm saying sometimes try to sell your product before it exists. And this part, it's just that when I asked her if she wanted me to replace this image, the feature was not already developed on Travel Map. Yes, I had a way to put a travel map and to have different trips, but there was no feature allowing to have a single page showing this in an frame and having all the features with customization I sold her. So I'm not speaking about selling like for money, but just selling the features. Also, I say give before you receive, and it's what I did, because I asked her if she wanted me to do it for free. I mean, I wouldn't say, do you want to pay for me to doing that? Because I was no one. The website was not known, so I said, I will take the time to migrate all the pins you have on your static map to pins on a real map with the coordinates and so on. So it was a bit of work, but I said I will do it for free. I did this twice, once for My Life's a Movie, the blog I was talking about, and one more time for Viré Malin, which is another blog who accepted also. So I contacted 2 persons and they were okay with that. So I did this twice, and then I was able to sell the product to other people. And also, it's why I say don't anticipate issues you would have with 1 million users, because when they both accepted, I could have thought that maybe people will pay for that, so I will develop a payment method on Travel Map. But I didn't want to do that. I just put a PayPal link and a donation link, and if there was people that wanted to pay for that, they could just do a donation. Before I started to implement Stripe later, when there were more users on the website. So yes, it's a really important point. Don't anticipate issues. Let them come to you, and then you will fix them. What went well about making it a business is that they propose valuable features. The first blog, My Life's a Movie, when I sent her the mail, she answered, yes, I want that, but also do you think it would be possible if each marker could be clickable to redirect to each blog post related to the destination? I didn't thought about that first, and she asked me. And it's the most valuable feature of what I propose with Embedded Map, this service of integrating a map. So she said what she wanted, and now all the users using this are using for this feature. Also, I didn't take time to develop something useless, because once she said yes, then I started to work on this. I was able to add an attribution that brought clients. So when I speak about attribution, I'm speaking about just saying on the map on her blog that it's been developed by Travel Map with a link. So people started to come on the website from her website and the other blog. So it brought clients and traffic. And finally, I decided to add Stripe only when there was some users saying, okay, I want to pay, how can I do? First, I send them the PayPal link, and once developed, I send them the Stripe subscriptions. Today, Travel Map is embedded on 60 websites for the embedded map features. So, one more time, I'm thinking, maybe let's try to grow the business. For the existing business, so the travel map for you and me who traveled and want to share their trips, and for the embedded map, which is the embedded iframe for the bloggers. The strategy was the following one. I will start to write some blog posts, because even though I have some traffic from the two blogs, I don't want to depend on them only. I want to be able to have my own traffic, and I want to be referenced on Google. So yes, I developed a few blog posts. I will quickly show you. So here is a blog post where I speak about how to create a travel map on your blog. So I explain with a static image. I explain if you want to do it with Mapbox, with Google My Maps, or with Travel Map. I also created an article saying that why it could be great to have a map on your company's website. Like, let's say you're an architect and you want to show the different buildings you built with the pictures, so you will place them on the map. And just one more, here I made all the code to explain to beginners, like maybe bloggers who could think that without being a developer, they can create a Mapbox map and do it on their own. So I explain everything for a beginner. And now this article, if you type Mapbox, I think if you type Mapbox map on Google, I think it's the second or third article. So it really worked on that. Also, I decided for this strategy that I will add some paid features. I'm not the one who decided which paid features I will add. I waited for users to ask for them. So once a user asked me if it was possible to show the different countries they visited. So it's just about highlighting the countries on their map. Someone also told me that he made drone videos and that he would like to show them instead of just pictures. There are some users who want to take some screenshots of the map, but just with a button. And finally, there are people who going for hike, for instance. They want to be able to create the accurate path between two markers. So I made it possible to upload some JPEGs and KML files, who are some files who contain some coordinates for a path. So yes, I added some paid features. And finally, seeing that all the incoming traffic on Travel Map was from France or USA, I was thinking that maybe it could be great to translate it in another language. And I translated this in Spanish using ChatGPT, by the way, and it worked well. Today, I've got 51 visits a year coming from Google. So I really think I can say that blog posts were great for that. If we just quickly look at it, we can see that there is a blog post which is interactive map for my trips, and it's more than half of the visits coming from Google on Travel Map. Also, we can see that Spain, this is in English language, this is French, and this is Spanish. And we can see that now Spanish is the third country which is bringing some users on the website. So it was a good idea to translate it. And the fifth is another blog post with a Mapbox. The first business is working. So now I think that maybe I can start to work on something else. So what I say that is that, yes, I ensure that the first business is working on its own. It don't take time from me anymore. People will come from the two blogs and from Google, so I don't have to work on this anymore. It's finished for me. So I can start working on something else. So one day, I think about what I could do, and I remember an issue I had when preparing the 15 days road trip in Canada, because I opened maybe 5 articles that were speaking about the itineraries of each person, because I was trying to think what could be the best itinerary I will do for this road trip in Canada. And it was a pain because they were speaking about destinations, but I didn't know where they were. And I had to open either Google Map to say, okay, where is this, and to check each destination, or I had to scroll up and down between the text on the blog post and the small map that was at the top. And it was very long articles. So each time I had to scroll up and down and up and down. And it's why I thought that maybe we could do something like this. Why not have a blog post, but have a map here on the right that could be extended like this, so you could see the itinerary. And when you scroll down the article, it will show you the different steps, and it will show you the itinerary so that you can know where you are going. But also, why not add the pictures so that you can see if it's worth it to you to go to that place. So I think it's one of the best user experience comparing at scrolling up and down or switching to Google Maps. So as you can see, it's what I did. That's why I say that I thought about a way to innovate. Also, first, when I did this, I wanted to solve an issue for bloggers because it's the issue I had. So I wanted bloggers to use it. But after doing that, one day I received a mail from Signature Golf. Signature Golf, it's an Irish company, which is a travel company, who is creating some custom-made travels for golfing people. Their process is to send a PDF once they made the custom-made itinerary, and they are just sending the day-by-day itinerary on a PDF. And they were thinking that maybe they could replace this PDF with a standalone page where there is a map with all the destinations and the pictures and so on. So I started to work with them, and we did this together. So this is a standalone page. It's exactly the same technology that is behind the small map you saw on the right previously. So you can open the different days to see what you will do, and you can click on a step to be able to show the pictures and what you will do that day and a bit more details. So yes, we worked on that together. And it's when I completely redefined the target, because it's an opportunity for me, and when you think about it, it's really smarter to target some travel companies who have money instead of bloggers who don't have money. So it's when I redefined the target about that. Also, I think I can say that I really invested on this first client, because even though it was paid work, I made a lot more than what they just asked. I invested a lot of effort to have it as a nice reference for the next client or prospects that will come to me. I wanted to be able to communicate on this by having their feedback, to show it on the website, by having a nice demonstration video, to create a blog post about the collaboration. So yes, I invested a lot on this, and I spent some time, and for me, it's, as I said before, it's giving before you receive. You give a lot, and it will help you in the future. Just a few technical aspects, but there are a few developers, and I'm not talking a lot about development. So just a few technical aspects. For this technology, I had to make a proof of concept, because maybe some developers were wondering about that, but I was not sure at the beginning that it was possible that scrolling inside a first website, a blog, could make it possible to move a map inside another website which is in the iframe. So I made a proof of concept of that, because I don't want to spend a lot of time working on something that will not work in the end. And I discovered that thanks to window.postmessage API, it was possible to communicate between two browser windows. So it worked. Also, to make it as convenient as possible for users who are like basically non-technical users, they are bloggers and they are, non-technical users working in travel companies, I wanted to develop a WordPress plugin. So it was a pain because WordPress is a pain, but I did this WordPress plugin to help them having just a nice interface to configure where the map will be and where the different anchors will be to make it possible to move the map when you scroll down the text. And since it was a pain to develop this plugin, I wanted to add an SDK. So it's just a basic SDK in JavaScript. So I think time's almost up. So if I should sum up in a few words what I said, the first thing would be do some minimum valuable products because it will help you to see and to let users give them their feedbacks. So make it able to retrieve their feedbacks, and it will make your project evolve as users want and not as you see it in the future. Also, do it with passion because when you do it and you like it, you will see new opportunities. Also, try to create the opportunities because sometimes sending a mail to someone or speaking about your project will help you to create the opportunities. I think we still hear too much time that someone has a project, but it doesn't want to talk about the idea because he's afraid that someone will steal the idea. But no one does that. So just talk about your project around you and people will give their feedback about it. And sometimes it will create opportunities. Also, give before you receive. I told it multiple times, so I won't explain. Also, write blog posts. It helps a lot about SEO. It's not just an idea. It really works. And don't forget to have fun. It's really important when it's a side project, because if you don't have fun, you will give up. And maybe you are wondering, where is the fun here? Because I know that I spoke about it like really in a professional way and very structured way. But in the end, when I'm able myself to use my own product on the web, I'm really happy about that and it's fun. Also, when I receive some mails from users saying that it's exactly the tool they wanted and they are happy to find it. And also sometimes they say, there is a small bug here, maybe you could change this. I'm happy about that. So yes, I don't forget to have fun, even technically. Just a few words about the technical fun. First, I discovered Firebase. Now I even have a conference on Firebase. And I talked about ChatGPT for the translation, but when ChatGPT started to have an API, I wanted to see if I could make users' life easier by creating the different steps in the trip using ChatGPT. So what I did is that instead of clicking on add a new step, finding it on the map, clicking on the map, writing the step's name and validating, so like a 5 clicks process, I just asked the user to say the different places he went in his trip. So we can just type Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, Singapore. Type enter and I will send this to ChatGPT, who will send me the coordinates as JSON. But what is great is that it can be also like I went to the Eiffel Tower. It's not just cities, it's not just countries, it can be any places, and ChatGPT mostly known about them. So yes, I implemented ChatGPT API and it was fun for me to do that technically. Just a few words about what's next. First, I need to keep on maintaining the project because it always takes some time to upgrade the version. The web, it goes fast, so I need to take some time for that. Maybe I'll start to develop some physical products because I really think that it could be great to, when you finished your trip on Travel Map and you saved it, that something pops saying, do you want this kind of poster for this trip? Do you want that? We can send it to you. Maybe I can try to integrate to a travel builder, which would be great in terms of business because there are some companies who are paid by tour operators to create some itineraries, and they are selling itineraries to a lot of travel companies. So maybe we could just add a link to a travel map page which shows the itinerary, and it could be great for the business. Also, maybe do LinkedIn ads because my target is very accurate. It's just like web managers in travel companies, and maybe I could do a bit of ads to find more clients. Just before I finish, I want to point out what changed between the two failed projects I talked about in the beginning of the conference. What changed is that I learned a lot from my failures, and it's something we often hear, but it's true. And also, I joined the Bear Studio, which is my current company, and I met Rudy, who's there, who taught me a lot about the way to lead projects with MVP and so on. So thank you, Rudy, about that. Thank you, Bear Studio, and thank you for listening to this talk. I don't know if we have time, but if you have questions, either you can ask them maybe now, I don't know. Yeah.
So the question is, where do you store the images?
Sorry, what?
Where do you store the images?
Yes, the images, they are stored on Firebase hosting.
Okay.
Not hosting, sorry, Firebase storage.
Is that going to be like a big spending for you, like a big cost?
Okay, yeah, it's true that I didn't talk about it, but today the project, I think that it costs only maybe 10 euros a month to me. It's like 2 or 3 euros from Firebase because Firebase is great for the free tier, and it's not a big expense for me at the moment. And maybe it's like 10 euros hosting and 2 euros Firebase. So it really costs nothing to me at the moment. Thank you.
Can you explain a little bit the paid version and the free version?
Sorry?
Can you explain on the paid version and the free version? Why users should pay if they can get free?
If I understood well the question, it's about what is free and what is paid. Okay, Travel Map is free for anyone to as soon as you don't have professional needs. So it means that if you want to create your trips, you can go on Travel Map and it's completely free. This part I want to keep it free. It's just that if you have some specific needs like uploading your own videos or maybe adding some specific routes and so on, then there are a few paid features. And the other paid features are for professionals or bloggers. So, because bloggers, if there are some bloggers with, 100,000 views on the maps, it will cost a lot in terms of map usage with Mapbox or other technologies. So this is why this part is paid. But you can use Travel Map as a simple user, I would say, for free. Is that clear enough?
If I may ask this question, but you don't
Sure.
have to answer if you don't want. The number of users that you show us, are they the free one or the paid one?
Most of them are free ones, and so there are 60 at the moment. There are 60 websites that are embedding maps. So it means that it's 60 paid users, but it was just for the embedded maps. Now, what I really want in terms of business is to grow the trip itineraries tool that I showed on the blog and with Signature Golf example, because it's for travel companies. So there are just a few like that, like maybe 3 or 4 that are paying for that are professionals, because I offer a free tier about that to try the tool if you have less than 1,000 views a month on the maps. So maybe there are like 20 websites embedding trip itineraries and maps. So it's a lot of free users.
That's why you still need to work and pay
Yeah, that's why I'm still working at Bear Studio right now.
I have a question. Thank you for sharing. I find the most interesting part you shared was about changing your target audience, target user from bloggers to
Professionals,
travel
yes.
customers, like people who curate tours and all. What do you learn about this group of new users? What are their needs that you learn from them?
Yes, there are some things I learned, because it's not, this audience is not as simple as the previous one. When you have bloggers, you will find some people who are just trying to be blogger and start to create their blog, and it's simple for them. They will just use the WordPress plugin and so on. When you speak about travel companies, they have processes. They have a lot of processes, and it's hard to be part of this process. When it's already a too big company, it will be too complicated for them to integrate this kind of tool. So I learned that you really have to know the domain, because sometimes thanks to some opportunities, like I was in a React Paris, which is a React conference a few months ago, and I talked with someone, and he said that he's working for this kind of travel builder who is basically creating the trips for a lot of travel companies. So it's a really good contact for me, but it means that it's not simple to integrate on this kind of with this kind of users. So you have to relearn the processes, and you have to understand how they are working to be able to work with them correctly.